Donald Trump has launched a scathing attack on the Labour government, saying Britain is making a very big mistake retreating from oil and gas, as he urged Keir Starmer to open up the North Sea.
Yes, taking to Truth Social, his social media network, the President-elect also said the UK should get rid of windmills. And by windmills, I believe he means wind turbines. I also call them windmills. I can't help myself.
Oh, I think windmills are prettier. But joining us now is spokesperson for Just Stop Oil, Gill Tavner. Gill, thanks for being with us.
I mean, thanks for having me.
I can imagine you're going to say Donald Trump's wrong here. But it is true that energy is cheaper in the United States than it is in the UK.
The price of our energy is regulated by the international gas markets, and it's set by that. And the one way to make ourselves free of that is to use renewables more. Then we set our own prices. And can I just talk about your previous caller, Billy? I agree with so much that he said. He's so right about we need to insulate our houses. But there's one thing that I would like to correct that you allowed to go. And the Rosebank, when Sunak allowed drilling, allowed licenses for the Rosebank oil fields in the North Sea, that would all be sold overseas, and we would have to buy it. It was bought by a Norwegian company, and you cited Norway.
Yes.
And that's the big mistake, to think that is going to be our energy security.
But Jill, isn't that part of it?
Is to use the natural power we have of wind and solar. China's doing it, better than we are.
No, completely agree. I mean,
I'm burning coal at record rates.
Well, yeah, China's got an all-in policy, a bit like the United States. I mean, it's extraordinary. Texas has built more wind turbines and solar panels than just about any other place on Earth other than China.
I mean, oil state, isn't it? So
and it does all of it. But that's the point, Jill. I'm a big all of it kind of person. I think absolutely go for the wind, go for the solar, go for the nuclear. But also, why not? If we're buying in gas from the Americans, who cares if we sell it on the open market? We're going to get the revenue from that. I mean, oil and gas-rich countries, from America to Canada to Norway to Saudi Arabia to Qatar to just about everywhere you look in the world, they're making lots of money doing all of this stuff. Meanwhile, we sit here cold and poor.
All we get is, as far as I'm aware, all we get is the revenue from selling the licenses. But you said, why not do it? The blooming obvious reason not to do it is because we cannot release more carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. We really are. We are the generation that has it right on our shoulders to make that difference. And we are living in the time when we can make that difference. If we continue drilling, we're in so much trouble.
But that would be lovely, but we're importing it all from countries that are less environmentally interested.
Whether we're importing it or not, if you're so bothered about our sovereignty, let's not listen to what Trump says. Let's not listen to Elon Musk's dad. You know, what are we? Do we want to be the next state of the USA? Let's make our own decisions. Let's make sensible decisions, not listen to these loonies, these criminals. I mean,
but energy experts tell us that we're going to need oil and gas at least till 2050. Why not help contribute?
Those statistics from the Climate Change Committee were false, and even Claire Coutinho, the energy minister at the time, admitted actually that renewables will keep our prices down better than would further investment.
So why do we have the highest energy bills in the world?
I don't know the answer to that. I don't know the intricacies of the market. I'm sorry, but I just know what's the right thing to do in terms of the future and the very near-term future. I mean, Trump has said that climate change is a hoax, and he's put in a recent application on a golf course in Ireland, said to build a 200-metre-long wall because of the dangers of rising sea levels caused by climate change. He's just a charlatan. He's a chancer. He's out for what he can get. And I do not want him to have any say in our politics. What about our sovereignty that your viewers have cared so much about? Who is he?
Yeah, I think there is a really genuine point there about the inconsistencies of Donald Trump, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you.
But there is also the point that we talk about the global price of energy. I mean, there is more of a regional price of energy. In Europe, we find it's very expensive. In America, it's about half the cost. And in America, they do fracking, they drill, they exploit their natural resources in a way that we in Europe don't. And I worry that countries like Germany and the UK that have had the highest spike in energy prices are actually going to be counterproductive for the climate change cause, right? If all these countries around the world look at the UK, look at Germany, look at the economic decline we've experienced in the last couple of years, look at the cost of our energy, they're going to be less likely to do the renewable stuff that we want the other countries to do.
Yes.
Why don't we look at China that has doing well, and we're so concerned about being the next leader globally? They're the only country that has met its renewables target set, the voluntary set. It met it 6 years early. And in 2023, they installed 50% of all new solar power in the world. We are being
They also
left
installed a
behind.
majority of the coal-fired power stations in the world.
Look, Trump's still stuck in the era of oil. We need to move on. China's moving on. We're left behind. We need to be investing in solar. We need to stop subsidizing oil and gas. And we need
China's not choosing one or the other, though, and that's the difference. You're asking us in this country to choose between one or the other. China is not making that decision. India is not making that decision. The United States is not making that decision. We are impoverishing ourselves to pursue net zero, while other countries are simply saying, you know what, we're going to be practical, keep all of these things in the air, and we will move towards a renewable future, but we're not going to impoverish or freeze our citizens.
You're just not understanding the urgency. It is so important that globally we stop oil and gas within the next 5 years.
But you're holding up China as some kind of example.
No, I'm putting them as an example of they are really investing in renewables, and they will continue to do so at a rate faster than us. And that will enable them to drop oil and gas sooner than us. And importantly, their sort of burning per head of the population is a lot lower than ours.
And it's increasing.
A lot of them are living in poverty.
They have a higher total demand, obviously, because they've got a higher total number of people.
Yeah.
The highest demand per head is America and us, pretty much.
OK, well, Gill Tavner...
So why can't we reduce demand as well?
No,
well, that's a good point too. Yeah, maybe.
Gill Tavner, I'm sorry. We're so sorry. We've got to get to a break, but I think we could have you back and talk for a lot longer than we've just had. Really appreciate your thoughts. Of course, Just Stop Oil spokesperson Gill Tavner. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, there we go. This is Good Afternoon Britain on GB News. Lots more coming up. We are going to be discussing the grooming gang scandal, as the government says it won't order a national inquiry, as enough have already taken place and a new one won't make a difference.